Hi folks, Randy Witter here with Patriot District, NCAC. Wanted to talk to you now real quick about your personal gear. One of the things you're going to want to do with your cruise is before you head out, do a personal gear shakedown. So I'm going to do that. I want to let you know that I am completely dressed up as if I was ready to go out on my canoe trip. I'm going to wear these exact same clothes every single day, and I'll quickly show you what I've got on me. But what I also want to emphasize is that when you do your shakedowns, you're going to have your handbooks, and that's got a listing of all the personal gear you should or shouldn't have and the different things that you want to take into consideration as you're packing out for your trip. So I'm going to start at the bottom real quick just so I can then move closer to the camera. We possibly have already talked about boots. So these are the Merrells that we show you on the slides. If you have military connections, you can also go to the military clothing sales. They've got some great desert boots with the drain holes on the side that you can get. So that's an option if you do have those ties. The other quick thing to comment on the shoes, and we will have mentioned this most likely during the briefing, is they serve no purpose if you don't lace them up properly. Either you do the high school tie and you're either going to roll an ankle or you're going to leave one of your shoes inside one of the bogs. So just please take that into consideration. I have wool socks on, and those are they can be synthetic, and those will be the same socks I will every single day. I'll have dry gear that I'll use when I get into camp, and that'll be the stuff that I'll use in and around the campground. But every morning, this is what I'm going to put on, and this is what I'm going to canoe in every day. So right off the bat, you see I have my vest on. So as we talk about layered clothing, when you get up in the morning it might be cool. I might have my fleece on as well. I'll show that to you in a little bit. But this is going to provide quite a bit of warmth, believe it or not. So even if you're putting on a cool, damp shirt, you'll warm up pretty quickly. I have my camera connected to me. Everything that you've got needs to be properly secured. So I've actually used the vest and an appropriate carrier in order to actually put all of this together. And so anytime I need to, I can pull out my camera and take my picture. And again, notice that it's connected. I can't tell you how many times I had it in my pocket and I'm canoeing and this thing went out to the back and I just pull it in by the string. It is waterproof, it is ruggedized. Recommend that you would do that. They're not very expensive anymore and they're pretty high quality. So consider at least getting maybe a ruggedized waterproof. You've seen some of the pictures. You can do some amazing things. This went on 2 Northern Tier trips with me. I did Atikokan and I also went out of Ely. So I can put that back in my pocket. I can put it here. It's connected to my vest. I'll go ahead and take it off now. But I also want to highlight that even though it's connected to my vest, once again I've got it connected with a carabiner so that if my vest came off, I could still properly secure that. So I'll get that out of the way now. Water bottle, again just emphasizing that your actual pack or your actual vest is a great thing to connect things to that you're maybe carrying with you. Unlike going to Philmont where you got to carry tons and tons of water, at Northern Tier you got water at your disposal everywhere. So I just recommend a single Nalgene per person. If you happen to do coffee in the morning, maybe a half Nalgene that you would mix your coffee into, but that's all you need. The one with coffee would go up in a bear bag. This one you can have with you if you're only using water. Also, as part of your crew gear, they're going to be chemically treating your water, but if you as a crew bring an actual hand pump, that's a great job for the duffer in the middle of the canoe. They can be filling everybody's Nalgenes as they need to, just by sitting in the middle, dropping the connector out onto the side of the water, off to the side of the canoe, and fill your Nalgenes for you. So 1 Nalgene. I have the vest. I'll go ahead and ditch that now. So the other things that I have is I have a fishing shirt on. Very handy. Pick it up at Dick's Sports. Long sleeves. Got hooks and pockets and everything else that you might need for it. Roll up your sleeves, roll down your sleeves. You can get these pre-treated to kind of help you with your bug repellent issues. Things that I've got in my pocket that I carry with me all the time. I have a safety whistle. You get out in the winds and you're on high waters, your yelling is not going to go more than maybe 50 or 60 feet. You got to have a whistle if you're trying to get somebody from any level of distance. So I have that. Happens to have a little thermometer on it as well. Handy dandy toilet paper. This is one of those Coleman rolls, but all you have to do is take the last remnants of a roll that you might have, crush that up, put it inside of a Ziploc to keep it dry, and you have your toilet paper at your disposal at all times. I also have, if you happen to be sight impaired, my spare glasses in case something should happen to these. What I don't have on right now, and I just realized that, is I don't have my glass strap. If you have glasses, you need to have a glass strap. It's probably inside my bag that I'll break down in a second. But I do always carry a spare pair of reading glasses with me. So that's it for my shirt. I'll take that off real quick because I want to show you and recommend that you guys get crew shirts. Again, everything should be poly so that maybe they can use it during our trip. So this was our crew shirt, and it's got a moose on the back. A lot of plastic back here, so maybe an outline would have been a better option for it. Some other things that I have. I have a pair of gloves. There's my glass strap, by the way. I have a pair of gloves. They're not necessary by any means, but when you have your long sleeve shirt on and then you also have these gloves, and they're just batting gloves, a left and a right-handed batting glove. You don't need them for blisters necessarily for canoeing. It does actually provide a little bit of comfort in that regard, but believe it or not, the biggest issue and the biggest benefit to having these is it's one more layer of mosquito protection. I also carry with me then is my mosquito net. Now I'll go ahead and go to my hat real quick. So everybody ought to have a hat. It should be one of those sun protection hats. This happens to have a flap in the back. That's not necessary. It's a handy thing, particularly if you're fair-skinned like myself. But the biggest issue and the biggest consideration is the wide rim, making sure you have a wide rim for sun protection, and that you have a neck cinch. The winds get going again in the afternoons, and without this, you have a good chance that your hat's going to be taken off of you, and it's going to end up in the water, and you're going to have to circle back, and hopefully you get back soon enough before it sinks to the bottom. So make sure you have something to actually secure your hat to your head. Oh, I was going to demonstrate too. So the other handy thing you can get, save you from having to use insect repellent, is you can get these mosquito nets, and they go right up over the top of your hat. And for that short portage or whatever it is that you might be doing, you then get the mosquito protection around your neck and around your face. And I set this up right. And with my collar up, mosquitoes are pretty much going to stay off of me. So it's again just a quick option for if you happen to hit one of those mosquito swarms. So that's everything on me personally. Swimming wise, no swim trunks. I've got compression shorts, and those serve perfectly well for swim trunks as well. And I wear those compression shorts every single day. So what I wear on the water, I don't change out of my clothes. These are, if they get dirty after a particular day because you sweat a little bit, you jump in the water and you rinse everything off. That's all you got to do. Everything is poly so that it'll dry quickly, and once you get into camp, then you can pull out and use your personal gear. So we probably or possibly already talked about all of your gear fitting inside of essentially a 5-gallon bag. So this is a 35-liter dry sack. I reckon it's a little oversized. I would recommend a 25-liter for a young youth, and a 30-liter for an adult or a large scout would be just fine. And so I'm going to show you that I have everything that I need in here, again, that's in that packing list. So one of the things you're going to want is a dry camp towel. This is again one of those quick dry towels. It doesn't need to be very large. I have a ski cap, which I'm going to use for my sleeping, just to give me that extra warmth on those cooler nights. 2 pair of dry socks. So I have another pair of wool socks and a thinner pair of socks that I'm going to wear in camp. Just 2 of them. I'm going to wear 1 pair for half of the trip and maybe the other pair for the second half of the trip, depending on how ripe they get. Once again, you've got water that you can put all of this into and clean up. I have 2 pair of underwear, same idea. One half of the trip, the other half of the trip. They can be washed. They are synthetic, no cotton. 2 synthetic t-shirts. Half of the trip in one t-shirt, half of the trip in the other. These are only going to be worn at camp. I'm going to wear this shirt canoeing every single day. I have my spare dry pants. They're zip-off, so if I want to turn them into shorts, I can. But just 1 extra pair of pants should be all you need. As we talk about layering, I'm going to have a pair of rain pants as well. And those rain pants layered over these pants will be sufficient to keep you warm during your time. Now I'm going to show you, I have like a 40-degree sleeping bag, but I can get away with that because I have long johns that I'm taking with me. So instead of a larger, thicker sleeping bag, I'm just supplementing it with long johns, or you can use a liner. I have my dry shoes that I'm going to take. You saw how nested they become. They're just a pair of little dock shoes, and that's all I need for around camp. They're closed-toed, and they've got a solid footing for the bottom of it. You can't afford to have your feet get cut up because that'll be the end of your trip. Too much of a likelihood of getting an infection. Luxury. So you thought I have everything in there? I even have my air mattress that goes inside of my sleeping bag or on the outside of my sleeping bag. This is a manual blow-up one, but you can see that's just a little bit bigger than an Algene, and it will provide me as an adult the comfort that I need. And then the last thing that I have in here, again, I did some of this just to kind of show you how much you really can fit inside. Make sure you use a compression bag for your sleeping bag. So my sleeping bag is in here, and I also have my fleece in here. So my fleece may not be in here every day, depending on what the temperatures are. That might be something that I'm going to carry separately. But I'm able to get my sleeping bag and my fleece into this. So there's my fleece jacket. Again, synthetic, right? So quick dry. Another layer. And then here's my sleeping bag. And my sleeping bag is, again, just a Field and Stream. You can see it's a little bit of a mummy shape to it. And my degrees on this, it's a 40-degree bag. So this, with my long johns, kept me comfortable even in some of the coldest nights up there. So that's it for the personal gear. So what you're going to be doing is that'll be packed up into one of those whales. You pull it out. That's what you take into your tent with you at night. Sleep, pack it all back together, throw it back in the whale, take down your tent, and you're good to go.